Last year, Russia would send 5 ballistic missiles at Kyiv in one night. Now it sends 40. And that number keeps growing. I live here, so let me tell you what this actually look like and why it's about to get worse. Putin is getting ready for a new wave of mobilization. He wants to expand it after the Duma election, that's Russia parliament, on September 21. President Zelensky said this, and he is not alone. Many analysts see the same sign. Here is why this is big. Putin's whole war was being built on a contract soldier, men who signed a paper and went to war for money, mercenaries basically. But at home he saw them as true beliefs fighting for Russia. Now remember one simple fact. Russia's population is several times larger than Ukraine's. That is a huge number of people. If Russia goes into general mobilization, this war can become far more bloody than anything we have seen so far. From what I heard here in Kyiv, they are planning a general mobilization with one twist: men from 35 and older. And what does Putin actually want? He wants to squeeze Ukraine and take the Donetsk and Lugansk region. Then he call end this specially military operation and walk out with a victory. But it's not a victory. It's a cover for a failed war, a closed economy, destroyed infrastructure, and more than 1 million Russian casualties in this offensive. There is another reason Putin is losing. He is hitting civilians. This winter in Ukraine will be very hard. Everyone here say so, and the reason is simple. Putin cannot win on the battlefield, so he attacked the people instead. He hits pumping station, he hits power plants, he wants to break us, push people into protests, bring down our leadership, and call that a win. And I will be honest with you, living here is hard right now. I'm in Kyiv, the missile attacks never stop. Russian ballistic missile hit civilian area, yeah, something they hit military target, it's true, but most of the time it's civilians. When you go to bed, you don't know if you will take up almost every night there is a mass attack, and every week they break their own record. If you want to know what is really happening in Ukraine, not from an analyst somewhere far away, but from someone who live here, subscribe to this channel. I'm a journalist, I work for a national TV channel in Kyiv. I have been to the front line. I have documented Russian war crime with my own camera. I talk to analysts every week on air. So what you get here is a checked information plus what I see with my own eyes. Now back to mobilization. Putin is not only recruiting Russia, he is bringing in other countries too. We already know about North Korea. Their soldier fought in the Kursk operation when Russia tried to push Ukrainian force off its territory. And now it looks like one more player is joining. Iran is threatening to strike Ukraine. They say Kyiv will soon learn that Iran does not leave its debt unpaid. And now it looks like one more player is joining. Iran is threatening to strike Ukraine. They say Kyiv will soon learn that Iran does not leave its debt unpaid. People joke what War 3 has started. Maybe it's joke, maybe it's not. But the trend is real. More players are stepping in. And let me remind you of something. It was Iranian drone, the Shaheds, that started flying at Ukraine in the first place when Russia began losing this war, and happened almost immediately because their goal was to take Kyiv, and they failed. So they got stuck in the long war, and they had nothing to fight it with. Become corruption had eaten everything, including their own army. That is why the so-called second army in the world moves slower than a snail. So Iran seems to have forgotten who gave Russia the technology that kills Ukrainians. That is why it's strange to hear Iran talks about unpaid debts. That is hypocrisy, pure hypocrisy, and it should not go unnoticed. There is one more fire burning, and I think it threatens Europe just as much as this war does. This one is Poland. It started when President Novikov began pushing some very strange narratives about Ukraine. Not always directly, but he straight up the mood against us. He used old historical wounds, painful ones for Poland and for Ukrainian both. And here is what is leads to. In the Polish city of Wrocław, a young Ukrainian couple was beaten, and guess why? Because they were speaking Ukrainian. If this were one case, I would not even mention it. It would still be terrible, but the one case, the problem is what this is happening again and again. And I want to be very clear about something. Ukrainians remember what Poland did at the start of this war. Poland opened its doors. That gratitude, it's real and it's not going away. But someone in Poland need to say this out loud. If Ukraine had not stopped them, Putin tanks would already be sitting on the Polish border. Look at the city Russia says it liberated. Look at the photo of Bakhmut. It was a large city. Today there is nothing here. Nothing. And when people get beaten for speaking Ukrainian and the police, the court, the law do nothing, Ukrainians start asking a hard question. How is this different from Russia? One more story I don't want to skip. Laura Lumer changed her position on Ukraine. She is close to the MAGA base, and people say she has real influence on Trump. Is this true? I don't know, but there is an interesting part. It turns out Laura Lumer has Ukrainian roots. Think about that. She attacked Ukrainians, she did not support us in this war, which means she was helping Russia. Then she came to Ukraine and saw what is actually happening here, and she apologized to Ukrainians. We appreciate that, truly, but one question stay with me. How is this so hard to understand? Who is the victim and who is the aggressor in this war? It's obvious. Russia in the aggressor. The UN voted on it. Every international law say the same. We are defending ourselves. How do you look at that and not support Ukraine? Lumer saw it, she saw how people live here. This is what I told you at the start. You get bombarded and at night with high-tech missiles, and in the morning you go to the work anyway. Maybe you work in a coffee shop, maybe in a factory, maybe like me on the television, you still get up and go because that is our life now. And she saw something else. She saw how friendly Ukrainians were to her and to Trump. We are not an aggressive nation. What we really want is very simple: to live and to join life. That is it. So I'm not surprised she changed her mind, and I thank her for it. This is actually why every political, including Trump, should come here and see it for themselves. Friends, if you want to know more about Ukraine firsthand, I'm here in Kyiv. I work as a journalist. I have information, and you have what I see myself. Subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.